you all. So, if God has a specific plan for our life, like when you read the Bible, like you see how God is just so intentional about what He does. I was listening to my Bible app today, and I would just play the scripture over and over. I don't know, but it's something about listening while I'm moving that my brain just really, like, I really absorb information. And we learn in different ways, and so, like, pay attention to those things that you notice about yourself in regards to how you learn and that sort of thing. We're very different, and there's things that God can do to help us in different situations. So just being open to hear things in a different way is important. But if God is intentional, how we see in His Word, when you get into the Bible and you hear the different accounts of history, you see how intentional He is. And in Genesis, the book I was in today, like he did certain things first. He said things after He did it. Like, there's a reason why He said those things. There's a reason behind everything that He did. And in this society, I mean, and it's not just today. I mean, it's been going on for throughout the history of man. It's this idea, that started with the disobedience of Adam and Eve, deciding to have their own, I guess we can call plumb line, their own form of understanding and judgment. And us as humans, we have this idea that just based on our own experience, we determine what is right for us and what's not, right for us. And there's many things that we're presented with. But what it really comes down to, for me, like, one of the things that stands out is that God, He's intentional, and that if He is even a God, like, if there's someone that says, well, I don't believe in the God you're talking about. Well, if there was someone, if we were just to ask about or talk about the general concept or idea of a God, or, it's a figure that's in a higher authority that probably has more power, more ability, more understanding. And even if we think of it in just that way, like, that individual, just a general, God, is something that we put at a higher level. And so if it's this idea with people that believe in the God of the Bible, if it's this idea that He is intentional, He is, everything, like, knows everything, has all power, and is all loving, if that is in fact the case, then worrying about these things or trying to kind of unravel what you should do, what you shouldn't do, we can just ask Him. Like, I met the Lord because of a question. He is so willing to and able to find ways to get to us. And because if in fact He is all willing, and if He is this God that people who believers of the Bible say He is, then the simple way would be just to test Him. In His words, he said, test Him, like, test if He's real, and what I mean by test Him is try it out, like, be honest, ask Him, tell Him, say, well, this is my question, or this doesn't make sense, or why did you do, like, ask, and then expect an answer. And what happens when we turn to Him and ask and bring Him into our life is that really He's already there trying to get to us, but what happens is we then turn our attention to Him, which in a sense is kind of like, repenting. You're turning away from one thing, you're turning towards another thing. And we turn towards him. So it's just like if someone calls my name and I'm doing something over here in one direction, somebody calls my name, and then I turn and give my attention to that individual, I'm going to be able to better understand and hear what they're saying. Or if I'm turned in another direction and I hear them and I ignore them, which is what we do many times, after someone comes to the Lord, I speak about myself, then God kind of reflects back with me and shows me, oh, remember this time, remember that time? And you kind of see the times that he was really trying to get to you anyway. But it was too much static. So if God is in fact this God that believers in the Bible say that this God is, then don't sit there and try to challenge the things that somebody brings to you or what you see in the Bible. You don't have to go through all that. Just ask, like, is this real? Like, when you ask an honest question, when you're honest in your heart, it's just like how the Bible tells of how a person becomes saved. You believe in your heart, confess with your mouth. It's an honest prayer. It's not just something you quote and say, oh, I prayed the prayer. No. It's that point to where you're like, you're honest within yourself. And so this is the same thing. You don't have to come against or argue about how you want, what type of lifestyle you want to live and validate the feelings that you have and the thoughts that you have. They are real, but the devil's also real, and he's also good at confusing us because he's been around. So the thing is just ask God. Like, if he is God, then he will answer. If he's this God that believers in the Bible said he is, he's going to answer. And you don't have anything to lose. So just ask. God bless you all.